We've been keeping up with our agenda quite nicely. I hope we can keep up the pace until the end. Let me remind you the format, 10 minutes per company. We have 4 companies from the UK, from the Midlands, and 6 companies from Spain. Please stick to the allocated time, 10 minutes per company. Because if you don't, you would be stepping on someone else's time, and we don't want to do that, do we? So, as we said,
Remember the format. We have 4 entrepreneurs, 4 companies coming from the UK, and we have 6 companies, 6 entrepreneurs coming from Spain, from Madrid. We have just 10 minutes each, and please make sure we stick to the time. Any minute we get for us on top of the 10 minutes time that we have been given, we take away from our peers. And we don't want to do that, okay? So, empezamos con las 4.
So let's get started with the 4 UK companies. Please correct me if I don't pronounce it correctly. We have Edward Campbell from Ausgo Azera.
And it's all yours. And thank you so much. Thank you. Welcome. Thank
you. Hola, buenos días. Hello, everybody. Hello. Basically, I would like to briefly introduce my company. We are based in the Midlands, just outside Bromsgrove. We do communication systems for hospitals in the way that we... So we do communication systems for hospitals, and basically that takes the form of nurse call systems. We do an IP-based system. That is, we have service within the hospital, secure service, and we can adapt all kinds of other systems to our OSCO system. My main platform is called Tessera. Tessera is a system developed in Australia and the US. It's got an infinite amount of variations, from bedhead calling systems, voice controls, to nurse monitoring stations, to hospital management tools. This is a nurse call station. Basically, it prioritizes calls according to patient, to what type of call it's placed on the system. We also have corridor displays, which are repeaters. We can customize those to any language and add graphics for the hospitals. That is a typical nurse call station button that goes on the bedhead. Our system is it differentiates itself from other systems because our system is fully disinfectable, fully submersible. It's IP68, so you can basically submerge the call buttons, etc., into alcohol. We have full RTLS, which is real-time location system, that basically tells where every member of staff, every patient is at any given time. So it's very useful for within the dynamics of a hospital to have that kind of positioning system and record. We work with 2 things, a wristwatch that can be given to patients and programmed with patient information. We also have badges that can be used for staff. These badges are rechargeable, and basically they will alert to staff presence anytime somebody walks into a room. It will also register duration time at the bedside. The app station is basically, for lack of a better description, a little iPad device that goes against the wall. You can raise calls on that. You can prioritize all types of messaging on it. You can call directly to the nursing station. It's got voice on it. So if you have this in a ward, you can basically order food, order cleaning, and also talk to the nursing station or escalate a call from it. So I think one of the things that OSCO has got is the human interface of the product is very good. So this gives an example of, these are completely programmable. You can put whatever you want in them. But for example, you can make calls into pharmacy. You can put patient records on these devices as well. So if you want to know a patient drug history, etc., you can integrate that into the OSCO system. You can order room cleaning. You can order food, etc. So it's basically again a programmable device for the system. We also use mobile applications. So we got Pulse Mobile, which is basically a way for the nursing staff around the hospital to receive calls, accept or reject those calls or escalate them, or pass those calls to a colleague. This works on any Android or iOS device. So the alarm system, as you can see, you can pick up a call, you can escalate the call. They will also work with RTLS, so once you are in the room, it will automatically allocate that call to your mobile device. Or you can reject the call and send it to another nurse. So there is several types of alert methods. There's the nurse station. There is the corridor lighting. There is also the app mobile. So we have several types of different systems. We're fully integrated. We can basically integrate with patient records, pharmacy, anything that you need to integrate within a system can be added to the OSCO system. So you go one-stop solution on the ward. We keep a record of all the calls. So if somebody is by the bedside of a hospital on a patient, they can basically register how much duration, how much time they spent with each patient, and it will keep that record for the hospital for later management. We have several technological innovations. We got AI now managing some of the parts of our system. We have voice controls that we have introduced for people with limited ability to operate with their hands. So we have full voice control in our systems. And we're working at the moment on radar solution for fall detection, which means that it will monitor a patient and its movements throughout the hospital or room. And we're also working on remote home solutions. So remote aftercare can be managed from this system as well. And that's about it. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Edward. Just for all presenters, very quickly, how can we help you? Just provide us with 3 bullets. So investment, clients, providers, services, alliances, an office in Madrid.
We're looking for distribution.
Okay.
Initially for distribution, resellers, agents. Sorry. We're looking for distribution, resellers in Spain. So we are basically trying to expand a network of distributors in this country.
You don't have an office yet?
No, we don't have an office yet.
Can we offer service in terms of providing you for free services? As where is Faustino? Is not here.
We're already discussing that, but yeah, that's basically what we're looking at.
He offered free spaces and he leaves. Yes. Okay. Distribution is your main goal.
Distribution is my first step.
Okay. So we are going to circle back with Shona so that we can understand how we can support you, because the most important thing for all presenters is that 3 bullets, 4 bullets, very concrete things. How you can guys help us disembark in Spain? Excellent.
Okay,
Congratulations. Well done.
Thanks.
Okay, so let's go for Bloom. Bloom, we have with us James Lomas. So Lomas comes from, not from the UK.
Yes.
Comes-
It does, yeah.
Lomas, okay.
Yeah. Although people do say it sounds Spanish. So, yeah.
Well done. So can you just, as Edward did, just 30-second tip on you? Who? Thank you.
Buenos dias. Yes, I'm James Lomas. I'm the Chief Technical Officer of Bloom Health. We're a company based in the Midlands in the UK. Brilliant. So we are software innovators. We are clinicians and we are software developers, and we ultimately work with bodies like the NHS and also private healthcare companies to solve their problems for them digitally. So we digitalize clinical pathways. We do that in a couple of different ways. The way in which we've grown is that we collaborate with public organisations like the NHS. We collaborate directly with clinicians. So we will talk to them about their problems, and then we will work with them as to how they solve that digitally with our digital health framework. We also, through that, have developed a fantastic framework which allows us to be able to create what we call NHS-ready software. And through that, we've developed a global presence by attending conferences such as this in Spain and also in the UAE. We have a clinical team in-house who specialises with our clinical safety documentation, things like DTAC, which is what Chris was talking about earlier on. And we also look at our technical capability as well by continuously growing our technical team. We focus on recruiting the best talent. So we have a lot of senior development stakeholders in that team who have worked for long-standing positions in the NHS and also fintech organisations and lots of different senior engineering people as well. So on the consultancy side, we obviously use all of these capabilities to be able to share our knowledge with other organisations as well, whether that be on the clinical safety side of everything or whether it be on the software development side of that as well. These are some of the organisations that we've collaborated with. So as you can see, we have quite a good presence in the NHS in the UK. We've collaborated with multiple NHS trusts, which also gives us the ability to give people a good springboard into collaborating and piloting their solutions in the NHS, whether that be solutions that you've built in collaboration with us, or whether it be that we do some of your clinical safety assessments on that. We do also have some of our partner organisations on here who have supported us throughout our journey as well. So moving on to some of the examples of what we've built for the NHS in the UK. The first one was in collaboration with Somerset Trust, which is called ERA. This is an emergency role allocation system. The main problem there, essentially, was the speed at which nurses could attend the bedside during an obstetric emergency. We use quite an archaic system in the UK where we essentially still ring a bell to be able to get nurses to the bedside. When the nurses get to the bedside, they may need to take on potentially up to 6 different roles, and they don't really know which role they might need to take. So when they get to the bedside, there's a tablet there where they can say exactly what role they're going to take, and they know exactly what they need to do. So we've decreased the time at which it takes a mother who is having an obstetric emergency to be treated. The next platform is a content management system. This is called Verbo, where we've collaborated with Homerton Trust, and this is for speech and language therapy. This is a content management platform where we can deliver a content scalably to students within primary schools. So essentially, they can access speech and language therapy where they couldn't before due to a shortage of speech and language therapists. And the final one on here is a burns management solution. This is currently used by 40,000 people across the NHS and ultimately uses a set of calculations to calculate how much fluid a burns patient needs. This needed to be re-architected based on the MHRA guidelines, which we have done for the organisation as well. These are some non-clinical examples. I won't go into too much depth about these. The first one is a lab tech platform in the pathology space, and that's all about getting a pathology sample from hospital to lab and tracking the logistics process throughout that. And now a bit about the product. So this is how we actually deliver our services, and there's a few different channels through which you can collaborate with us to leverage this framework. What Bloom Connect ultimately is, and there was a fantastic rhetoric last night at this award ceremony between UK and Spain about communication, and Bloom Connect is ultimately the bridge between clinicians and software developers. So one of the complexities that we saw when innovating in the digital health space is that clinicians have a deep understanding of quite complex clinical problems. And then being able to translate that to a software developer for them to be able to solve that problem can be quite a complex process. And a lot of the details sometimes can be lost in translation. So what Bloom Connect does, it ultimately is a digital health enabler. It is a framework through which you can collaborate with a software engineering team to be able to deliver your digital health product. So it's made up of these different facets of technical components ultimately. But the main goal is that it supports either you to be able to work with your engineers in-house or to be able to collaborate with us as Bloom to be able to deliver your digital health product. And these are the different channels that we use. So we have uConnect. uConnect is ultimately where we give you access to the framework and your own engineers can read through the documentation to be able to deliver your digital health application. And we can support you through the clinical regulatory space as well on that application. We have the WeConnect channel, which is where you come to us and we use our engineers to be able to deliver that. So I will work with my engineering team to be able to deliver your product. And then we have a more bespoke space, which is WeBuild. This is what we usually use to be able to collaborate with larger consultancies and private health entities as well to be able to deliver their products. These are some of the case studies. So this was Verbo, the solution that I mentioned before. As you can see, this is the content management section of the Bloom Connect product. So this would be an example of a UI pattern within the actual framework itself that you would be able to reuse if you leverage the digital health framework. This is ERA. So as you can see, this is based across native application as well. So the framework supports both web and native applications dependent upon the use case of how you want to build. And I'll leave this one out because this one's separate. So a bit about our international strategy. So what we're actually looking to do is create international trade bridges between different areas as well. So we've established our portfolio base in the UK, and we're looking for partners to be able to distribute in these different regions as well. So this is why we are here in Spain, we're looking for partners to be able to collaborate with, whether that's to solve problems or whether it is to distribute our existing products as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, James. So how would your potential perfect partner look like? How would he or she look like?
I think it's simple.
Go ahead, yes.
I think we're looking for research centres, people who have a deep understanding of clinical problems, and we want to collaborate with those partners to be able to, one, deliver new products that they can distribute in Spain, or if there's an existing use case for some of the products that I've displayed today or other products that I haven't displayed, we can have that conversation and see how we might be able to distribute those as well.
Excellent. Have you got presence elsewhere?
We currently have presence in the US only.
Okay, through a partner?
Through a partner, yeah.
Okay, excellent. So well done. We have a clear view of what we can support you, or how can we support you in a more sophisticated way, I would say. So, thank you, James. Let's move for the next one. Now we have Kathika Bojan. Yes, good morning, Kathika. We don't hear you.
Hello.
Now, yes. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good, yeah.
Excellent. So, welcome to Madrid, even though you are remotely connected. Welcome to Madrid. So,
Thank you.
could you give us a 10-second highlight on you, and then we move into the presentation itself?
Sure, yeah.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Karthika Bhujan, founder of Brainberry Limited. At Brainberry, we focus on mental health. And we are a research-based company and a medical device company we've established for last 8 years. So what we do is, I think I'm facing some issues with the presentation. Okay, yeah. So we are developing a gamification app for people with early dementia. So there's two things to the app. One is it's very personalized, meaning we have a portal where we allow users and family members to upload pictures, then which becomes the part of the gamification. And also the games contain several number of games, which includes reminiscence, language, meditation, physical exercises, daily tasks like making a cup of tea, which focuses on various early symptoms of dementia. And we also have the portal where we provide the cognitive scores and the charts, which helps the carers and GPs to understand where the progression of the disease is going, if their memory is improving or not improving. So basically, the app is clinically validated. We have done phase 1 clinical trials, and we have shown improvement in emotional well-being, motor skills, attention, and visual memory. We've got 3 papers published, and we are currently selling the app into the market. On top of it, what we are developing is a wearable headset which measures the brainwave activity. So this is the extension of the project basically. So while these games are played, we measure the brainwave activity of the user, and depending over a period of time, we kind of map the brain activity, and based on the brain activity, we change the gamification for each individual user. This is called personalized or precision medicine. We are doing this because every dementia patient or anything to do with mental health, every participant or patient is different. So based on the brain activity, the games will change automatically. For example, let's say somebody is in the early stages of dementia. It's not very easy to get diagnosed clinically, at least 2-3 years prior. The person might start with anxiety and stress rather than memory problems. So that could be picked up with the brain activities over a period of time. And the gamification will change more into meditation-based games rather than throwing them memory-based games. So this kind of game shifting and mapping the brain is kind of done with the AI. So we have a lot of AI development going on. And the future we look at is the changing of the games, we see it as a therapy problem. But as we collect more data, we are looking into, with the help of the AI, to look into diagnosis and prognosis models. So currently we are selling the app. It's used by University of Twente in Netherlands. We have Norway distributors, Wilmer, who are using our app and selling it to the municipalities. And we have strategic collaboration with Amsterdam University Hospitals and Pharmaceutical Xionggi. The interesting part with the hospital and the pharmaceuticals is we are not only doing it for Alzheimer's, we are doing for other mental health and neurological conditions. For pharmaceuticals, we are also using the brainwave activity to see and control the drug dosages during the clinical trials. And with the Amsterdam University, it's very interesting. They're looking at our headset for in the ICU setup for a specific coma, where they have to make a decision within 24 hours using EEG. So every time is precious. So instead of using a hospital EEG, they want to adapt our EEG headset, which is quite easy to use. So we also have pre-orders going on the headset. We currently work with 4 NHS trusts within the UK: Leeds, Leicester, Nottingham, and Western Isles in Scotland. And that's it. So what we are looking for is 3 things. We are looking for academic or clinical partners who are into brain research and mental health. We are looking for distributors who can help us get the app into the dementia community, and we are looking for investments as well. Thank you. Not sure whether to start.
So, well done, Kathika, well done. You
Okay.
did it in less than 10 minutes, and very clear, very, very clear.
Thank you.
We got a couple of minutes, so any questions, any comments from anyone here? You were talking mental health, I understand, I know for sure. We count within the cluster with 3-4 companies, yes. We have one question.
Okay.
Enrique?
¿Funciona? Sí. Thank you. Very interesting presentation. Congratulations. One question is very different to adapt Cosma to other cultures or languages as Spanish people
We already have 8 languages.
Okay.
Spanish is one of them, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So very fast and quick response. Thank you very much.
Well done. Any other questions? Any other comments? No? Nothing. So, well done. We keep very clear notes of what you just said. We will take an action, and we will keep you posted through the embassy, through Shona, Alejandra, and team, as soon as possible. So looking for distributors, looking for clinical experts.
Research partners, and investment.
And also for investment. Thank you. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you. Bye.
So, we have the fourth one, Neil Vivan. There you go. Excellent. Hunter Vivan. Wow. So, who is Neil? Very quickly.
Which microphone? This one?
Yes.
If I can start off with the presentation, then thank you.
Very good.
Buenos dias, or I should say good afternoon.
Yes.
And thank you very much for the opportunity to present to you today. Do you know where the clicker is? Oh, there it is. My name is Neil Bevan. I'm the CEO and founder of Hunter Bevan, which is a marketing company. We started off marketing for healthcare, medtech, and companies working with special educational needs and disabilities. And 5 years ago, we were asked to develop a suite of apps to support people with learning disabilities into work. That project was so successful that we actually spun out another company from our original company called Starfish Labs. This was just before the COVID pandemic hit. We currently work in the UK with the NHS, with national and regional government, with private healthcare companies and charities and learning disability organisations. And we have clients in the UK, Italy, mainly the UAE, and also in Kuwait. So we started off, as I said, working in the disability space with learning disability, with apps to support vocational training. During COVID, we had to pivot, and we were successful in gaining some funding from the Welsh Government, in fact, to develop a suite of apps to support people with learning difficulties to understand the changes in society as a result of COVID. So how to wear a mask correctly, what is social distancing, and how things were changing. These were multilingual apps in English and Welsh and accredited by Orca. As part of that project, we developed an app called Happy and Healthy, which was a more broad approach to mental well-being and general fitness and health during COVID, because everyone was going through the same processes in isolation and during lockdowns. And this signposted people to NHS information on mental health and fitness. We then got spotted by Cardiff and Vale University Health Board through social media, in fact, because of the work that we'd been doing in disability. And we were approached to work on the Get There Together project, which is an initiative led by Cardiff and Vale University Health Board to support people with early stage dementia, to support them and their families to maintain independence and to enable them to go out into the community post-COVID and know what to expect. So the app features a series of activities that uses geolocation to present to them what it's like to go to their local supermarket, what it's like to go to a particular hospital or a medical appointment, for example, with videos of what to expect. And those videos are created by communities throughout the country. The app allows people to actually create their own content. And this is what drives all of our apps. It's the task builder engine that we built for the COVID apps that's now deployed throughout lots of other sectors that we're working in. So it allows a family member, a clinician, a care worker to actually create very tailored, granular steps to show someone with dementia, early stage dementia, Parkinson's, or someone with learning disability, how to undertake tasks, activities of daily living. So an example of that might be in care of the elderly, healthy aging, where you could create your own exercise regime for a whole patient cohort or a group of patients in a care home, or indeed individual tasks for an individual patient. So you can create any of this within the back end of the app using a series of pictures, videos, sound, which can either be AI-generated voice or actually record your own voice so it's familiar to the person who's going to be using the app at the end of the day. And the steps on the right can be infinite, and you can change those steps for the individual or for patient cohorts. So that's what that might look like. That could be 3 individual pictures, just simple text, and the patient can then move through those steps, repeat them as they like, or listen to the sound. The back-end interface, the apps you can either create the content through a web-based back-end and deploy them to individual devices for the generic tasks, or you can actually use a smartphone or a tablet to create the tasks and then upload them to the back end. So this gives you the flexibility to create a generic task and then customize it to an individual patient or user. We've even got the apps working on smart TVs, so in a care home environment, or for someone with visual impairment or who doesn't have the manual dexterity to use a smartphone or a tablet, they can actually watch it on a large TV screen. So examples of the use currently are in healthy aging, dementia support, physiotherapy, learning disability support, but we're also looking at pre-operative fitness and post-operative rehabilitation. Another project that we've worked on is a web app for a charity in the UK called Where I Want to Live. And what this does is captures data on where and how young people with learning disabilities want to live when they leave a college or an institution. They may go back to their family, but they may want to express the wish to live in supported housing with a group of friends, for example. So this is gathering data points on what disability they may have and drawing out the conversation as to where and how they want to live, which could inform future government policy on supported housing, for example. We're also working in mental health support with apps to capture data on how someone is feeling at a particular point in time. So they can record on a sliding scale to record an exact data point of how they're feeling that day. They can type comments on what triggers might have caused them to have anxiety that day. And the purple buttons on the bottom are individualized links to self-regulation tools. So it might be taking them to their favorite piece of music, their favorite game on the device, or to favorite picture. And at the end of each session, a spider diagram is generated that you can see there to record those data points. And if they hit the ideas for their day, then the last slide, the last screen shows prompts to improve their mood, relieve anxiety, that are very tailored to that specific point in time. The app can be customized to whatever they want it to look like. And we also have a companion app that works on a smartphone, an Apple Watch or a smartwatch. We also developed a tool called My Life Planner, which is a visual calendar for people with early stage dementia or learning disabilities, again, to present to them what they might expect during the day if they're planning to go out on a trip or going to the hairdresser or going to a hospital appointment. And this also incorporates a very simple system where they can touch a picture of a person that they want to contact if they're lost or if they're anxious, which is also linked to What 3 Words. I don't know if you're familiar with What 3 Words, but they can just touch a button if they're in a panic, and it will send an SMS message to their chosen person. We can incorporate any language. We've worked in the UAE in Arabic with right-to-left reading text. We've worked in Welsh that has some different characters. So linguistic variations are not a problem at all. And we also work with symbol languages such as Makaton and Widget in the special educational needs and disability sector. We also have an assessment module linked to the apps. So a clinician or a care worker or even a family member can record the progress that a person is making or proof of the ability to undertake activities of daily living, for example. And we also have a gamification aspect. At the end of the task, the user can touch a multiple choice questionnaire or choose which is the correct image, for example. The apps are distributed on iOS or Android through a license key and PIN system or through an MDM system within an internal organization or as a web app. Our process is very iterative. When we get an inquiry, it's normally about, we've got this problem, how can you use the system to solve the problem? So we work very much on looking at the objectives, the deliverables, and the outputs for the patient, the end user, and for the organization that wants to gather the data or deliver the improvement for that person. We then formulate a project brief working with expert input from the organization that we're working with. And we've also been working with universities such as the Centre for Aging and Dementia Research at Swansea University. And then we enter the development process to deliver the app. Those are some of the companies that we've worked with in both businesses. So we have quite a broad breadth of experience from large international clinical research organizations through to small charities. I'd just like to sum up by saying you've probably seen the user interface is very simple and easy to use because it's driven by usability in the patient groups and the user groups that we're working with. And the apps deliver effective results. We're looking to license our existing products, which can be customized to the user interface for an individual organization, or to develop bespoke apps depending on the need that's presented to us. There's a rather long testimonial there from one of our clients in Abu Dhabi, but I think the slides are going to be shared, so I'm not going to read that out to you now. But that's from the Priory Group, Aspris, as they've rebranded in the Middle East. So we've had a very successful pilot project with them working in autism, and we're currently talking to them about some other projects as well. And I'll leave you with my contact details. And what I'm really looking for from this visit is for collaboration, for ideas, or simply to license our apps to end users. But I was particularly interested in what I've heard about using Spain and the Spanish language as an entry to the Latin American market as well. So thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you, and look forward to speaking to you one-to-one during the day. Thank you.
So, how long have you been with this, in this project?
Hunter Bevan is 24 years old, the original company. Starfish
So,
Labs,
24 years young.
24 years young. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's my birthday tomorrow.
Okay,
Talking of
congratulations.
age. Thank you. I won't tell you how old I am.
You stay here.
I fly back tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But I'll be going out this evening.
Very good.
Sorry, can you hear what I was saying?
Yes.
But Starfish Labs is just over 3 years old.
3 years,
so
okay.
we're very much startup phase, but we're now ready to scale with our license key system and the ability to customize the apps to any application, really. So
You are not present in LATAM. You're not present at all in Latin America?
no,
Not for now?
No, only
Excellent.
our only export market for Starfish at the moment is
Okay.
the UAE, the GCC market.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah. Oh, I think I finished now. Have we? I do
So, Neil,
apologise.
thank you so much. Now,
Thank
so
you.
congratulations.
Thank you.
We've come to the final stage of today's meeting. We have ahead of us 6 Spanish projects. Would you kindly regain your feet or your seats? Thank you once more for your patience. We have a long session ahead of us, plenty of startups. We are very grateful for your time and patience so far. In this final stage, we will be presenting 6 projects from Spain, followed by the closing session headed by a representative of the British Embassy, specifically Sarah Cowley, and Miguel Angel Redondo, Deputy Mayor for Government Area for Economics, Innovation and Employment for the Madrid City Hall. We will also have Maria Angeles Prieto and 2 more general directors for, or 2 more officials from the Innovation and Employment Ministry. So let's go straight into the first presentation by Enrique Remezal. He is the Icon Group CEO and also CEO of Avantia. And he's here to tell us about their reality, Avantia. 10 minutes. Thank you, Carlos.
Try to do this presentation in English because mainly is focused on the British companies that can be interested about working with Avantia. Sorry, because as you can see, I'm not native, but well, I hope that you understand my words and our messages. So, Avantia Pharma. What's Avantia Pharma? Avantia Pharma is a new and innovative pharmaceutical laboratory that is focused on the promotion of innovative and mature brands in Spain, Portugal, and Latin America. So let's see if I can move. Well, we have 10 minutes, and the presentation, to be honest, is designed for more than 10 minutes. So I will move some slides very quickly. Sorry for it. For me, the key message is, well, probably you work in the healthcare industry and the pharmaceutical industry, you know that the pharmaceutical market is a growing, fast-growing market. It's a resilient market. It's a very interesting market, mainly for a lot of companies, because even during the pandemic, we continued growing. So that's always for sure good news. And we will continue growing with aggregate growth rate or more than between 3 and 6%. Apart from that, we are talking about the Spain and Latin American market. So for you, just for you to know, just regarding pharmaceutical products, we are talking a market that accounts for more than $70 billion in annual sales. So more or less is the double than the UK pharmaceutical market. It's about 35 billion. So even it's expected that in 2026, just the Brazilian market will be bigger than the British market. Apart from that, in our laboratory, we are focused in the therapeutical areas that are growing faster and will grow faster, mainly because we are focused in the specialist-driven market, oncology, immunology, neurology, and all the CNS, so all the illnesses related with the central nervous system, will be the focus of Avantia Pharmaceutical, that is already working in Spain, Mexico, Central American, Caribbean, and Colombia, and we will start next year with Peru, Ecuador, and Brazil. What's our business model? The first thing is our business model is flexible. We can adapt to the reality and to the needs of our clients. But we are capable to make all the tax and all the steps needed to export a product from the Midlands. So including importation from Midlands, and registration, and reselling the product to the local distributors, and so on. So again, depending on the company and depending on the product, will be so easier than we will send a plane to the Midlands, we will take the product, we will pay for the product, and we can take care all the rest of the steps to ensure that the product is available to patients and consumers. And of course, we have all the capabilities, as we said, regarding people, regarding knowing the market, regarding marketing and promotion, the supply chains, performance and tracking management, and so on. Additionally, Avantia Pharma is part of Icon Group, who is the leading commercial and outsourcing services in the healthcare industry in Latin America. And we have in Icon Group, so we are supporting Avancia Pharma, everything regarding with the omnichannel promotion. So we are really innovative. We were promoting from our omnichannel perspective since 2014 and since 2017 in Latin America. And this is really important because one of our key competitive advantages, and this is one of the reasons why we can ensure the very fast and very efficient promotion of products in our region. Here, as I said, so in credentials, we have already our own subsidiaries, so local companies own, but Icon in more than 20 countries in Latin America, from Mexico to Chile. As you can see, we are just missing Venezuela, unfortunately, and some countries of the South Cone, as Argentina and Uruguay. Just for you to know, we are already working with top multinational companies in this region, both in the CNS market, in oncology market, respiratory, diabetes, cardiovascular, and so on. So we really have a broad knowledge and understanding of the dynamics of the market in our region. We are really expert on that. This is just some example of the experience that we had by therapeutic areas. As we said, we are going to be focused on the specialist driver market, but we have experience from generics and from dermoaesthetics, from pure aesthetics, to even innovative personalized medicine as the CAR-T treatments. More or less, to be honest, that's all. So it's a very fast and very simple, to be honest, I hope, message. If you know a company that have a product or a service in the healthcare industry based in the Midlands or in the UK that want to export their product or services to Spain, Portugal, and Latin America, we think that we are a right partner to talk to. And of course, without any commitment, we will be happy to discuss and to assess and to evaluate any opportunities. So thank you very much. Your sponsor.
Thank you, Enrique. I have a question for the British Embassy and or the Midlands team present here. So how could we support Avancia? I have in mind 2-3 ideas. Number one, by finding a list of companies, I would say Midland companies, of course, but also UK companies, with interests in opening up the Spanish door along with the LATAM door, number one. Second, partnerships. I mean, there are probably more than one company even present here today that would like to open, maybe not necessarily Spain, but LATAM, any of the LATAM countries. And just to remind the audience quickly, we are talking not of 47 million of inhabitants in Spain, but most likely 700 million of inhabitants in Iberoamerica, even including Portuguese-speaking countries like Brazil and Portugal. So there is a huge potential. This makes a lot of sense. Shona will support. I know Alejandra will support. The entire team, as we are going to support you, we will be more than happy to hear from you. You have probably ideas, contacts, anything counts. So, anything else? Contacts, partnerships, investment? Is Avancia looking for investment, potentially?
Well, yeah, for sure, yeah. Of course, we will be open for any kind of partnerships. And for sure, we are looking for investment because every time that we start promoting and developing a new contract in Latin America, we need some initial investment. Most times are more related with the working capital, but anyway, of course, some capital is needed.
Okay, so any questions from the audience to Avancia? Oof, we've got a few. Okay.
Hi. Are you looking to import into the UK as well as...
Well, remember that we are a pure commercialization company. So our strength, to be honest, is to be capable to commercialize the products in our region. So we were discussing just this point before, not at least at this first phase. In the future, who knows, can be.
Okay, well, conversation later.
Thank you.
You have Anything in mind, maybe? Okay.
Oops, sorry. Sorry. We have a number of drug shortages in the UK, and we have a company that is bringing together a number of drug suppliers, such as the wide range of pharmaceuticals that you're looking to supply. So it'd be interesting to perhaps have a chat about if you could be part of that network to facilitate those. In the East Midlands, we have the airport for Just Goods, runs 24/7 just for bringing in and out of goods. So, if you did want to ship into the UK or out, that resides in our region.
Which one is that? Birmingham?
East Midlands Airport.
That is
It's just a purely cargo commercial airport which runs 24/7.
No, that's fine. So for sure, thank you very much. And we will be delighted to analyze the opportunities of collaborating with all the companies there. So for sure, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Can you just explain the registration process that you do for Latin America?
Of course I can, but how long have you been in Spain? 1 week, more or less, or not? No,
in 30 seconds.
Talking seriously, so it's very different country by country. It's very different depending on the product. It's not the same an innovative drug than a medical device, than something that can be cosmetic, and so on. So, first of all, it's not easy, it's not cheap, and it's not fast. That's the same. But it's always related with pharmaceutical products in any country. So, it's possible, that's the good news. But you need to have the local support of very skilled and people with very experienced people. So even us, we are working in every country with local experts, with local consultants, to ensure that at least we are not facing big issues during the registration process. But I think that we must analyze case by case. For example, it's very different with digital therapy, what we're saying here. I don't know, an oncology drug. So it's very, very different. But again, it's possible, but it's not easy.
I can give you maybe one example, because I know that a little bit. So I will not give more names, but an English company, without sharing the name, an English company, UK-based, headquarters-based and everything, has sold to a third party one of their products by $1 billion, with presence, the product presence in, I think, maybe 100 countries or 70.
Every country in the world.
And then for this sub-region, LATAM sub-region, that third company calls Enrique and says, listen, could you please promote on our behalf this new or just recently bought product for Costa Rica, Panama, Nicaragua, Guatemala, Caribe, Peru, Ecuador? So you see, British companies, and this is a little bit what we are talking here, British companies bring us plenty of opportunities. In that concrete case, that is a product, not a pipeline, but it could be a pipeline, it could be a product. And this is interesting because, you know, from out of the blue, you find opportunities. So that is an example, coming from your country, by the way. Perfecto. Pues muchísimas gracias.
Muchas gracias a todos.
Gracias. Pues estupendo. Seguimos ahora con segundo proyecto.
That's great. Next project, Citizen by Alan McKee. It's all yours. And you speak Spanish too? You don't? Who did I talk to? Your avatar? You do speak Spanish, don't you? It's all yours. Thank you.
Gracias por la...
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity to tell you about this event. I appreciate it greatly.
My name is Alan. I'm from Citizen Communications. I'll give you a little bit of background. My background is consumer marketing and communications. We talk about, I'm going to be a little bit contentious here, by the way. We talk about consumers, not patients. Patients are sick people that health systems do things to. Consumers are people who are capable of making decisions for themselves if you give them the right information in the right way at the right time. And that's what we're about. So, with that in mind, I'm going to talk to you about what it is that we're doing in the NHS. The product that I'm going to talk to you about today, personalised video, has been developed in conjunction with the NHS. And what we're talking about is focusing on an awful lot of conditions that every health system has and that every health system is battling with. They cost a great deal of money and they take a great deal of time and capacity from the healthcare system. This is a universal truth. It's not just the truth in the UK, it's the same here in Spain, it's the same in every market, regardless of whether the system is publicly or privately funded. So we have a product that addresses the needs of the system. This is perhaps where I'm going to be a little bit contentious. People talk rather glibly, in my view, about putting patients at the centre of everything. Patients are really important, don't get me wrong. But if you ignore the pressures that the system are under, your product will go nowhere. You can have the greatest product in the world that improves health for everybody. But if it can't be used by the system, it's not going to go anywhere. And that I'm afraid is an absolute truth. So we've spent a lot of time developing a product that meets the needs of patients and it meets the needs of the healthcare system. Most of our work is focused in the UK, but as I'll explain a bit later on, we're also expanding our work here in the UK. So if you're a leader of an ICB, an Integrated Care Board in the UK, these are all the things that are right at the top of your agenda. These are all the balls that you've got to keep up in the air. So, you know, don't just go in and say this is wonderful for patients. I've got all this other stuff to worry about as well. So that's why I'm saying patients are important, but they're really not at the heart of the system. And that is never more true than it is today. Sorry, I should go back. I've been explaining to one or two people here today. We've actually entered into a commercial agreement with an NHS organisation called the Midlands and Lancashire Commissioning Support Unit. I won't explain to you here right now because it'll take too long what the CSUs do, but if you want to have a chat to me afterwards about it, I'm more than happy to do so. Personalised video. It takes data and it combines that with video content to deliver short video films which are delivered directly to people's mobile phone. The only technology we want people to use is technology that they're holding with them all the time. Okay? People talk about health tech. An awful lot of health tech is very, very complicated. All we're asking people to do is to use something they use every day to do something they do every day, which is watch video content. But in our case, the video content is personalized to them. And as a result of that, the engagement that we get from the content is phenomenally high. I speak as a marketeer here. You know, we're getting engagement rates in excess of 50%. From a marketing perspective, that's unheard of. If I were working for Coca-Cola and I were getting 50% engagement on my marketing spend, I would be delighted. So I'm going to show you now an example of a personalised video. This is something that is live in the NHS at the moment. This is about encouraging people to access a diabetes prevention programme. So if we could run the video and then I'll explain some of the results afterwards. Thank you.
Hello from your personal Healthier You NHS Diabetes Prevention Programme. It was great to meet you at your first session recently. Your GP will be pleased to hear that you came along. You've now taken the first step towards reducing your risk of developing type 2 diabetes, a serious health condition, especially with COVID-19. We understand that this can be overwhelming. As someone who is at a higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes in the future. But don't worry. Together with the rest of your group, you will discover small changes that will make a huge difference to your long-term health. And your program continues in just a few days. Remember, you're not alone. With support and guidance from your team of experts, thousands of people just like you with different lifestyles have completed their program and never looked back.
We haven't really changed what we eat, just how it's prepared. I now boil or steam what I can and use a light cooking spray instead of oil. This is my habit now. I'm not going back to old ways. It's been lovely to treat myself to some new, smaller clothes. It is great to be inspired by other people on the program. You do not need to change everything at once, but you can be sure that the small changes made will add up. I feel a lot happier with my shape and the way I feel. I am really pleased that I did the program and have invested in myself. I've had the opportunity to make better long-term choices.
At the beginning of their journey, some of them felt unsure about what to do. But with the right help and a little time, they discovered the small, simple changes they could make to get healthier and reduce their risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And at your next session, you will too. It's all booked and ready for you. Simply tap to confirm. But if you can't make it, we'll find a new time that's convenient for you. Just give us a call to rearrange. The important thing is that you attend, and we want to make this as easy as we can for you. We're really looking forward to seeing you again, and we're sure your GP will also be pleased to hear about the progress you're making. See you soon.
Okay, so a couple of things I just want to point out about that video. Some of the, in terms of some of the points of personalisation, you've got the name of the patient, their gender, so the content is personalised to their gender. So this video was sent to an Asian woman, okay? And so in the testimonial section, she's seeing content from other Asian women. If it was sent to a white British man, in that section, he would be seeing other white British men talking about their experience of the programme. Okay, and that becomes significant when I show you the results. Other ways in which this technology works is that we can personalize the content by language, and this is something that we're very interested in doing. The creative treatment of these videos is deliberately simple, because we want people to focus on the message, not the creativity that goes around it. And that means that this content is easily adaptable to any situation. I could spend hours talking about the results of this. I'm just going to focus on a couple of key headlines here. This has been independently analysed. The data analysis was done by NHS England themselves, and what we're getting, as I said before, is greater than 50% engagement rate. So so that means that of the videos that are watched, of the videos that are generated, 50% are watched to completion. That has generated in excess of 33% propensity to act. And we measure this in real time. That video had buttons at the end of the video. If you click on those buttons, we know that you've done that. Okay, so we can measure all of this stuff in real time. And it leads to real behavior change. And we're achieving this across all sections of the population. I'm not going to talk about all of these slides at the moment. This is really very significant for a strategy that actually hasn't been mentioned yet today, but is hugely important in the NHS, called Core 20+5. So anything that you're doing needs to be looked at through the lens of Core 20+5. I would urge you to look at all of that content online. But what I would like to focus on is just this chart here. Remember I said before that all we're asking people to do is use a mobile phone to watch some video content? Right? Because that's so easy, we're able to appeal to a much older demographic. Yeah, people talk about digital health being the domain of the young. Okay, this bar here, people aged over 75. Okay, this bar here, people aged 50. Anything to the right of this line is people aged over 50. So if you make the content easy, relevant, and applicable to me, I'm going to engage with it. And the other thing that I think is massively important, and again, I'm speaking with my marketing hat on here, is we're able to maintain the human touch in a digital world. All the feedback we get from patients, and we've got loads of comments, loads of verbatim comments from people about why they found the videos helpful and useful. What they're telling us is, it made me feel reassured. It made me feel that I was understood. The comments we're getting are the same sort of comments you would expect to get from a person-to-person interaction. Okay, but we're doing this for less than the price of a postage stamp. We're already working in the NHS. As I said, approximately 500,000 patients by the end of this year will have received personalised videos that we're generating across a whole range of different areas, and that's in both. That's working both directly for NHS organisations, but also for working with pharmaceutical companies, Roche, for example, on projects which are implemented into the NHS. And then, as a result of a joint venture that we've set up here in Spain, actually in Barcelona, which is where I live, we are already talking to the public health system in Catalonia, CatSalut. We're talking to one of the major research and teaching hospitals in the south of the city there, Hospital de Belviche. We're talking to social diabetes, who have an app for people living with type 2 diabetes that's very popular in South America, and the blood transfusion service. There's links in the slides that are going to be shared with you, and there's my contact details, and that's it. Thank you very much for your attention.
For this fascinating subject.
Thank you.
Oh, so
thank you.
How can we help you?
Oh, sorry. What are we looking for? We're looking for partners to help us implement this in Spanish-speaking countries, particularly in South America, okay, where the health system is not as perhaps not as developed as it is in.
You have an office in Madrid.
We have an office in Barcelona.
Barcelona,
and we have a presence here in Madrid.
Okay, and you don't have any presence at all in Latin countries, in any of them.
No.
Okay.
No.
So, thank you. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Vale, pues seguimos.
Okay, well, now we're going to resume with the biomedical team, Rafael Rodriguez and Gabriel Guida. The medical team, you're on your own, are you? All right. No fear, I guess. We shouldn't worry about it, should we? Okay. Now I'm on my own, but I'll be fine. No, that's perfect. Don't you worry. I saw him before, but I had both of you here. But, you know, want to tell us something about you?
Go ahead.
We'll go ahead with all the, since we have also interpreters and everything, I think it's better.
Very good.
Sorry about that. My name is Gabriel Guida. We are part of eMedical. Here is also Rafael Rodriguez. I'm a medical doctor and CEO of eMedical, and Rafael is head of business development and sales of eMedical. We are, as you'll see, we are a medical service company. So we are a provider, and we are helping our partners achieve and improve their service through our company. So first of all, we'll start by doing a little bit of catch up. I think everyone is familiarized with everything that we're going to say in this slide. For none of us, it's new that our healthcare system, it's a little bit overloaded, to say the least. We have seen a lot of burnout due to COVID, and also due to the rise of population and the decrease of medical personnel that we are seeing. This is a common phenomenon. Here I just took a few, headlines, but also some important unofficial documents, for example, from the House of Commons and from the Spanish government. So we know that we are below average here in Spain. We know that the workforce in UK is burnout, and here we know, and the governments also know, what is the solution to improve this whole situation. So digital transformation are the foundations. This is the baseline that we'll use to improve and to enhance the healthcare systems, not only publicly, but also private healthcare systems. But however, in order to obtain this sustainable development, we need good health, well-being, to ensure that healthy lives are promoted and well-being is promoted through all ages. Here we have some important data gathered from, well, we already know NHS and the Spanish government both, as well as all the European Union. They are working towards digitalization of the healthcare system and improving this digital healthcare service. But here we have some analysis from Deloitte, which is a well-known consultancy company. And here what we want to emphasize is that they are talking about some important aspects to achieve such digitalization in a very good and sustainable way. And we as eMedical, we are focusing on this target, which is the talent, that unfortunately is one of the key things mentioned by the personnel, by the people working in these systems and by the governments. But as you are seeing here, is where less efforts are going into. Because we are focusing mostly on the technology, which is obviously very much important, but we need to focus also on the next generation medical talent. And when we say medical, we are talking about every medical personnel that will work inside these systems. So this is where eMedical is going to extend their services. This is where we are strong and where we are focusing our efforts. So we are focusing on no software development from our side. We are partners to anyone who has software development. We can offer solutions through telemedicine with our partners to companies that have no software or no telematic solution whatsoever. And what we are doing is we are going to go through, in these 6 principles, we are going to focus mainly in preparing this next generation medical personnel. And we are going to work the long game through the flexibility, scalability, and implementation to manage these changing technologies. We are usually working in a patient-centered approach. So we are putting the patient as the center of all our service. And we're training the medical personnel, the medical team on the technology that will work best for this patient. Not always the patient, we can always talk as people, because we also know that we don't need to focus our efforts mainly on patients or sick people, but also people that are healthy or apparently healthy and enhance their well-being. And while doing this, we can provide the technological solution through our partners or provide the medical service to our partners so that they can provide the whole solution to the patient. So we have this multidisciplinary approach, like we were saying. We are not focusing only on doctors. We have teams of nurses, we have physical therapists, we have personal trainers, we have psychologists, we have nutritionists. We have a whole team to provide this solution based on patient needs, but also on our partners' needs. Later on, I will explain some of our partners that we're working with, but mainly we're working with insurance, traveler assistance companies, telemedicine companies, employee benefits. Let's say that our services is capable of offering this type of solutions to whatever company that may need medical or wellness services for their clients or their employees. We usually have our own method. It's what we call the eMedical's method. It's quite simple. It's just 6 steps, as we were discussing earlier. But based on these 6 steps, we're going to do a joint analysis with our partner of what are the baseline needs. We are going to evaluate the project as a whole together with our partners. We are going to draw the line or draw the design of the implementation we want to do. Obviously, we'll do a training with the medical personnel needed in such technology. And then we'll have the launching and finally, most importantly, reporting. Because for us, it's really important also to show to our clients our partners, and finally, so that they can show their patients or the people that are receiving the final service the good that the service is provided. So how are the things going? What are the improvements we've seen? How is the efficiency of the service, which is something that we think is really important. We now have capabilities in, this is talking about medical personnel that works with us. We already have capabilities in Europe. We have capabilities in Latin, and we have capabilities also small, but some capabilities in the United States and UK. But our intention is to extend such capabilities, but not only extend such capabilities, but also to provide the support companies in UK might need when they want to extend their services and operations to Spain, Europe, and Latin American countries with top quality, next generation, and most importantly, human medical personnel. Because when we are talking about quality, obviously, from the tech side, we are talking about user experience. So we're saying what is the experience the final user is getting from the app or the website. But when we're talking about a service, usually when we see the ratings and we see the evaluations, what the patients or what the people that are receiving the service are highlighting is the human part. The doctor was kind. Seems like a very short but accurate explanation. Or sometimes is the doctor was on time, which is sometimes taken for granted, but it's quite important. So we are focusing on being humane. We are focusing on training our doctors on concepts such as digital empathy. Earlier, we were speaking with Chris, who gave his presentation earlier, and he said something really important, that face-to-face interactions are still very much needed, and we are doing this today, but we're also streaming such interactions. And while we're doing face-to-face interactions, some things you are able to see from my body language and you're able to understand from my tone and from the way I'm presenting. But if it was only audio, it will be a whole different thing. So we are training our medical personnel in the different channels that they can communicate with the patient so that the patient can feel this digital empathy. And there is also something very important that we were discussing and goes back to the first slide, which is we have a medical personnel nowadays working inside the national healthcare system, both in Spain, UK, and all the other countries of the EU, where they are already overloaded. So they are already working at very much the higher capacity they have. So what we are offering is a way of avoiding such burnout, a way of implementing or extending the service to use the technology properly, but also to be able to help such patients in the end and such doctors so that they can work in the most efficient and humane way. So this is a little bit what we're doing right now, and thank you very much. I'll try to keep it as short as possible. And if you have any questions, yes,
but
of course.
I'm not the only one, for sure. Any questions? Can I start with one?
Yes,
here?
of course.
Actually, two questions.
Okay.
So
or even three if you want.
Even three. Okay, let's go for three. So one of the group companies, one of our sister companies actually, is working a lot with pharmaceutical companies in LATAM, mainly producing some PSP, Patient Support Program projects.
Yes.
Kind of.
Yes.
So would you be able of providing nursing services, yes or not? And second, linked to the first one is, do you have your own tech, your own CRM type of? How would that work if we would at some point be interested in doing that with you, with your company?
Well, thank you for the questions.
Okay.
So first, yes, we are able to provide such services. We have a nursing team based in different parts of Latin America. Okay. And also the service, the CRM, we are not using our own technology. We are quite clear on that. We don't have our own CRM or our own app. We are using our partners' technology. So what we are doing quite transparently is saying, based on the needs, for example, in this case, let's say that they need a nurse to go to a house to implement a certain device or certain drug. Based on that, we'll say, okay, we think this is the best system to partner up for your needs. And we'll even introduce you to such partners. We are not interested in having any type of economical or any other type of incentive. For us, our incentive is to give the best service for you.
So could we then say that you are agnostic to technology in the sense that you could be working with a third-party technology, with an internal clients? I'm talking
exactly.
Internal technology, any technology.
Exactly.
Okay.
What we usually do is we have 24/7 medical service, and we have 24/7 medical supervisors, which we think it's quite differential and important.
Okay.
That they will be the first to be trained in such technology. For example, if it's a partner's or a client's technology that they already implemented. And later on, they will be the first point of contact of our medical personnel. So whenever there's doubt, we don't need to bother our client every time.
And now, as you offer for me 3 questions, I'm going to ask you a third one.
Okay.
How long does it take for you to prepare a nursing kind of proposal? Or it could be nursing. Do you work with MSL, so medical scientific liaisons? All healthcare professionals? You work with any of them or just a few of them?
Usually, we are mostly focused right now on medical doctors, nurses, and the other support figures that we were talking about.
Okay.
To implement, like we heard earlier in the first page of Spanish market, it depends on the country, logically. We have some services already ongoing, which might vary for the different services that required, but we can do some things right away, like from today till tomorrow. Some other, depending on the client needs, might take a little bit longer and depending on the country.
Okay, thank you. Rafa, ¿cómo lo ha hecho Gabriel?
So how's it going, Rafa? What do you think? How do you think it's done? Has he passed? Is it exceeded? Or what? Yeah, okay, good. Round of applause. That explains.
So it appears to be a question from.
Is there? Yeah. No?
Any questions? Yes.
We spoke earlier on, and it was a very, very interesting conversation. One of the things I'd like to highlight, and I think is very key, is your digital empathy. There is a program in the UK which is trying to get 60 plus of all hospital consultations done over the wire. And there is a training program that is in place, hopefully very good, as good as yours, around that digital empathy. So I think that is a real key service that you can supply through to not only people that are part of your team, but to others in understanding that whole nature of engaging with patients and citizens out there that have worries and concerns over a digital means. And then the other side of that is the legal aspects about how and what they do as part of that conversation and the things. So I think that you're right on the money there, as they would say. So thank you, Gabriel.
No, thank you for your comment. It's quite accurate, and this is something, one of the challenges. I try to be brief because at time I think it's up. Yes. But these are like the challenges we're facing, because in each country we are operating, there are different legal boundaries and regulations, so we need to overcome them one by one. And also the training, like you said, we are going through a medical training so that we as a whole service follow the same guidelines, but then also personal training, so we as a service all follow the same guidelines on how to treat, the people we are treating through these digital environments. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lo devuelvo a su sitio.
Perdona,
No te preocupes. Ok, so, tenemos el siguiente. Roberto, ¿estás listo? Sí, perfecto. La verdad es que ha habido suerte.
Honestly, we've been very lucky. with the questions. Roberto just came in from another meeting. He actually succeeded in making it on time. We were thinking we might have to make up his speech, but that would have been very difficult because he talks about digital therapies, and very few are as knowledgeable on digital therapies as you are.
Thank you for being here on time. ¿Alguna quieres decir alguna cosita de ti? Así rápido, 30 segundos, y luego ya hablas del...
Maybe you would like to give us some context and some background about yourself and then go right into the subject matter?
All right. Hello. Thank you very much. I need to take a little bit of air, a breath. Okay, thank you, Carlos, and good morning, and thank you for your participation in this session. My name is Roberto Bravo. I'm the CEO of Per Se Vivarium. We are a company, a digital health company founded in 2016, and we are specialized in care pathways management and in researching with the purpose of improving healthcare outcomes by using our digital solutions, which are used in more than 700 hospitals in different countries. What we have done, we have built a technology, a low-code technology that basically is a builder of almost any clinical data management project, all right? So with this technology, we are able to create, for example, clinical trials from phase 1 to real-world data studies. We are also able to implement care pathways for the daily clinical practice to facilitate the management of pathologies and treatments in the hospital. Also with this technology are able to implement a complete system for remote patient monitoring. And recently, and during the last years and months, we have evolved our technology in order that we are able to implement also digital therapeutics, okay? And this is where we have our current focus today in digital therapeutics, because as you probably know, this is the forefront of digital health, and it's probably the fastest growing field in health tech, right? So let me make a brief introduction about digital therapeutics, because probably most of you know what are there. But I will try to help to those of you that probably don't have this knowledge. Digital therapeutics, the correct definition is a clinical evaluative software that generally or as a complement of a treatment or therapy has a direct impact in the patient's health, and you have clinical validation and evidence about this, right? So, but it's important to understand that a digital therapeutic is not a mobile application for patients, because basically this is a medical device, because you need to have the medical device certification and you need to validate this as a treatment or a medical device with a clinical trial, right? So a couple of examples. Sorry, I'm still trying to breathe in and breathe out, sorry. For example, in mental illness, right? So if you create a software that through the interactions with the patient is able to, for example, in a patient with depression, is able to reduce the anxiety episodes, and you are able to generate evidences about this with a clinical trial, you have digital therapeutics. All right. For example, in a chronic disease like diabetes, if you create a software to maintain the patient in a good metabolic control, and you validate this with a clinical trial, you have a digital therapeutic, right? And right now in Europe, some countries has created processes to approve this DTX. In UK, there are, probably you know better than me, there are a kind of process, and probably it will evolve in the next months with the coming medical device regulation, I suppose. But it's important to understand that the design and implementation of a DTX, of a digital therapeutics, requires technology and requires legal and regulatory expertise, and also requires the capability to create and to manage these clinical trials to validate the DTX. Just to put this in a timeline, an ordinary pathway to create and to go to the market with a DTX can last about 3 years, including the product development and also including the trial. In our case, this is one of our differential capabilities. We are able to put in the market a DTX completely with the digital product and including also the validation with a clinical trial in just 1.5 years, right? Because we have a technology that is able to build very quick this DTX. I will have many expertise and capabilities to drive and manage these clinical trials, right? Our DTX, the DTX that we build with our systems, are focused in 4 main outcomes. The first one is reducing the unnecessary visits. Second one is improving the adherence to the treatments. Third one is reducing events and comorbidities, and the fourth one is improving the quality of life. These are the core ones. Of course, when a customer requires from us the creation of a DTX on demand, we can add new outcomes. Our DTX manage the pathologies in a multidimensional way. We act over 7 dimensions. The first one is the symptoms. Second one is clinical visits of the patient to the hospitals. The treatments, the management of the treatments, physical activity, nutrition, mood level, and quality of life, right? We work over these seven dimensions. Most of the GTX at this moment in the market works from a self-management perspective, self-management of the pathology perspective. In our case, we are differential. We put the focus in the continuous monitoring of the patient by connecting the daily clinical practice with the real life. I mean, by connecting the doctor with the patient. We are able to do this thanks that our technology for every DTX includes 3 main components. The first one is a mobile application for the patient. Second one is a wear system, right? The engine of this. And the third one is the tools for the physicians. And finally, in addition to the DTX that we create on demand for our customers are pharmaceutical companies, medical device companies, hospitals, scientific societies. So in addition to this, during the last years, we have created our own pipeline of digital therapeutics. The first one is in the oncology field. The name is Oncotherapy, and this is ready to be commercialized. And within 2023, we will launch another ones in another pathologies, such as heart failure and diabetes type 1. So thank you very much for your attention. I'll be happy to answer your questions or to talk to you later. Thank you.
Are you any better?
Yeah. Thank you, Carlos.
Wow. You okay?
Yeah, perfect.
You made it. You made it. You made it very nicely. You made it on time. You explained everything. You are alive. Thank you. You made it on time. So very quickly, could you tell us just a little bit more about this? You said the oncology DTX is ready. It's ready for commercialization.
For commercialization,
so
yes.
I've got 3 questions.
All right.
If you could just comment a little bit more further on that product, because I am sure some of the current attendees are going to be more than delighted to see if they could support you as a partner, as a client, or as any other options. I'm sure about that. I'm sure, convinced. And then if you could just tell us a little bit more about the market how is the digital therapy market growing? Growing, and which countries are en la vanguardia? ¿Qué países estarían en la vanguardia?
In the forefront.
So just tell us a little bit more about that.
All right.
Because I think it's going to be of the delight of everyone who is sitting here.
All right. Thank you, Carlos, for the question. So the GTX in oncology, the name is oncotherapy. We are focused there in this GTX in the management of patients with metastatic cancer, and they are taking oral chemotherapies. And our focus there is the main focus is to increase the therapeutic adherence to the treatment, reducing the symptoms and also reducing the unnecessary in-person visits. This is our focus with oncotherapy. Regarding the market, no?
And then, is it ready for which countries? So, if an integrator within us, within the group, was to say, I want you to license that product to me so that I can commercialize it in 1, 2, 3, or 17 countries, which countries could this integrator commercialize it into?
All right. At this moment,
any country, only 1, 2?
At this moment is in any country, but if you want, for example, to get the reimbursement, this is another thing because you need to go through the specific process in each country, right?
Okay.
For example, in UK right now, we are preparing all the documentation. We are getting an agreement with a legal representative there in order to go directly to the customers there, the hospitals, etc.
Very good, very good.
And regarding the countries, as you probably know, first, I think, or the country that has this more advanced is Germany. I think they have 49 GTX approved at this moment or last week. France is following the model of Germany. They have started some months ago. Belgium also have something similar. UK, I know that it's more a kind of negotiation product by product, but I hope that in very soon they will have also a similar process. And the reality is that what is happening is that in Europe, in every country, they are creating like groups in order to move ahead a specific process for DTX approval.
Excellent. Yep. So fantastic. So your future is bright. You have anything ahead. You can do anything you want. You can count on us. I know you have been here sitting this same place a few weeks ago, and hopefully you will be with us in other forums. We will explain you in a minute, because we have a program on digital therapies tomorrow at the Foro Emprendimiento Salud, digital TV plus FM radio. Tomorrow, Thursday, 6 p.m., 102.1, 102.1 FM radio, okay? Digital TV plus radio.
All right.
So, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for making it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bueno, pues el tiempo va pasando y...
Well, time is running, and now we have a new project, Sunset Technology, and we have Javier Jolonch with us, who's going to tell us about it. We have a microphone, we have your expertise, you've got the scenario, you've got everything. What else you need? Minutes. Okay, you have them. Go for it. Okay, hold on a second. What do I have here? All right, Cesar and Xavier, is that right? Cool. Okay then, all yours. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity. Thank you to the foundation. Thank you, Elena, for these wonderful facilities. And thank you, of course, Carlos from the EMAT cluster. And thank you to the British Embassy.
Blanco, I am partner director in Nextred. Nextred is a group of companies or departments who we are. Nextred was born. Sorry? Okay. Nextred is a group of companies, different departments, IT solutions like projects like infrastructure systems and different environments like on-premise, cloud, public, and hybrid cloud. Applications development, Layer 8, cybersecurity projects, Delphi, and Sunset Technologies. We are different methodologies and qualities are accredited by reference certifications like ISO 9, 20, 27, 40, and 33,000. And we have NES, is an accreditation of security validated by the government in Spanish. And please, Xavi.
Okay, thank you, Cesar. 2 guides in 10 minutes, it's amazing, incredible. And I don't know if we are the last ones, but it's very difficult to be the last ones, okay? Then I have a presentation, but maybe I don't use too much my presentation. I prefer to explain you what we do. We are software developers. We don't do rocket science. We do something very easy, very, very easy, but we help the hospitals and we help the healthcare. What we do, we make integration and interoperability solutions to provide that to consultant and information. We have a wide variety of interoperability models with public health, and we make connectivity solutions. Here we have some examples that we do. We have a shared clinical history where we make post connectors with public healthcare. We make notifications connectors with healthcare, with public healthcare, and query connectors with healthcare. For example, because we have a lot of them. We have more than 80 connectors. We have a lot. It depends on what the hospitals need. We help the hospitals to make this information to the Catalonian government because we mostly work in Catalonia. It's where we have a lot of customers, and the hospitals have to report to the Catalonian government a lot of information to receive money. Okay? If they don't give information to Catalonian government, they don't receive money, and the hospitals needs money. Then we have something that it's not rocket science, it's very easy, but the hospitals earn money with us and with products. We can make a PDF report post, we can make structures laboratory post, we can make basin post, clinical diagnostic post, etc. When we talk about connectors, we make a lot of connectors with, for example, post-minimum data set with emergencies, hospitalization, primary care, mental health, post-arthroplastic register, a lot. We have a lot of them, and it depends on what the hospitals need or what the Catalonian government is requiring to the hospitals. Then they talk with us, and we make these developments. And query connectors, all of this. But I think that it's important. We also make connections with operability platforms, with eHeath, hospital information systems, and with other softwares. And this is one example that one of the products that we have, non-urgent medical transport. Send requests to the SEM integrator, that is the medical emergency services, and receive a response from the medical emergency service. We make request prescription, displacement programming, displacement reprogramming, travel cancellation, cancellations of the prescription, etc. We can make this because the hospitals need to automate these systems. Another example that we have, ePharma. ePharma is public and private occupational prescription and dispensing methadone. We are developing this software too. Prescription and dispensing different kind of drugs, and prescription of prosthetics and and this other word in English that it's very difficult. Okay, orthotics or whatever. Okay, then. We are working with something that the hospitals needs, the doctors needs, and the nurse needs, because they are working with our software, working every day. An example, probably this morning, during the whole time that we have been here, we have solved more or less 100 tickets that comes from the hospitals to our developers to help with different problems that they have to, for example, dispense some product to some customer, okay? Then we are working very, very near to the hospitals. As I said, sometimes we don't do rocket science because we talk with the CIOs and CTOs of the hospitals. And the CIOs and CTOs of the hospitals in Spain, in healthcare, because I'm working with other kind of sectors, they are more or less 25 years ago, okay? Then they need something very real. We are the extension of the IT departments in the hospitals because they don't have people, they don't have too much money for software, and they need, and every day they have more data because they have eHeath, and they have a lot of products with different softwares that they have to connect to their eHeath and to give information to different places, and they have a huge problem because they can do a lot of things. Then we help them with real necessities today, not in 10 years. They have the necessities today. This is another example, and we are working with these companies like Roche or different hospitals, public and private hospitals, and as I told you, we are helping them with this kind of developings. We are developing constantly because their necessities are different day by day or month by month because, for example, the last 2 years, the hit was COVID. Why? Because the hospitals receive money for the government depending on the quantity of COVIDs that they were treating. Thank you. They were treating. They need a software that help them with these COVIDs to say to the government, I treated 1,000 COVIDs, 2,000 COVIDs, 3,000 COVIDs. With all this information, they receive money. This is the importance of the software, okay? And that's it, and thank you very much. And sorry for my Spanglish. You are welcome.
Thank you, both of you.
Thank you very much.
Any requests? What would you like to have from us, from the audience, We have plus 100 companies as part of the cluster.
Yeah.
We have insurance companies, we have hospitals, we have...
I know.
Yes. What is your...
My request is, if you need not a software provider, a software partner that it's a little bit different,
very different,
you can talk with us because we know the sector, and we understand that all of you, as us, we have problems and we have to help together. Our idea is not to, wow, I will try to sell a lot of money with a lot of margin because it's the good one. No. We want to be partners and to develop better software every day for, of course, for earn money because we are a company, of course, but for help people and for help hospitals and for help healthcare. That's it.
Very good. So we have profit companies and non-profit companies. You are clear that you are a profit company.
Definitely, definitely. My general manager always says this to me.
Very good. That's very important.
Okay.
So, couple of comments. Number one, now that we are a team, and now that we have a lot of people from team members, part of the team from the Midlands, anything you could do with this through this team, with this part of the UK?
Yes, of course. That developers in Spain are cheaper than developers in Midlands. Sure, sure. And the other thing...
And quality.
Yes.
Not only the price.
Yes, not only the price. The quality is the same there and here.
Okay,
the quality here is good. And the other thing is that work here I'm from Barcelona, I live in Barcelona, but we have, as you know, we have office here in Madrid.
Yes.
And work in Madrid, work in Barcelona, work in Spain, it's excellent. just see the weather.
So we
It's
are
better you
asking our colleagues from the north, so we were just raising our hand and saying potentially there are things we could do with them.
Yeah.
When it comes to Enrique's point, LATAM, what about LATAM, Latin America? What could you say?
We don't work with LATAM nowadays.
Why?
Because we have a lot of work here in Spain.
Okay.
And we don't know. But this is a personal thing. I lived for 5 years in Colombia.
Okay.
Then I know very well LATAM. I know very well Colombian. My wife is from Colombia.
Okay.
Then every day I have to fight with a Colombian girl. That it's very hard.
Excellent. So we were talking about quality. We were talking about costs.
Yeah.
You are very competitive.
Yes, because we know a lot about eHealth 7 and all these things that you need to develop software for hospitals that is different from other
So
sectors.
You said before you have a lot of work here, but are you working with any other countries out of Spain from here?
Yes, but we work outside when our customers move outside. For example, we work with Grifols. Everybody knows Grifols.
Everyone.
When we work with Grifols and Grifols says, I need something in Americas or whatever, we move with them, work and come back.
So you become international through these clients.
Yes, definitely.
Excellent.
Definitely. Yeah.
So a big clap to the team. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Muchas gracias.
Muchísimas gracias. Bueno, estamos ya aquí al
Well, we're at the end of the session. We are lucky to have the great team here. We have the whole City Council, Madrid City Council with us. And as we were saying at the beginning and before we give the floor to the last presentation, we'd really like to thank the City Council of Madrid for everything you do for us. We really thank you, and we're also making the most of everything at our disposal, just like if we're juicing it all out. And you're contributing a lot, and we really thank you for that. María Ángeles Redondo is going to tell us a few things at the end. And now we have a final presentation. I think we're sticking to the agenda. I think we're doing very well. I think it's been very good. And we have with us, interestingly enough, we have someone coming from Barcelona. You just continuously, yeah, one after the other? Okay. Well, we're now going to talk about Click for Health. We have the entire team with us here. I've seen it over there. But the representative now, really brave Gloria with us. Did they trust you fully? It seems like they do. Seems like you're not going to say something out of place. They'll tell us off if you do, so just be careful. All right. Ah, you do? No. There have been a few presentations from the UK, but how about Spain? No? Okay, well, I'm sure we'll learn a lot from you. Gloria, you have the floor. You have your 10 minutes, and thank you for your time.
My name is Gloria from Click for Health. And to begin with this presentation, I need you at your best. Therefore, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. Yes? Sit properly. And take a deep breath. Inhale during 4 seconds. Be aware of the air filling your lungs as you inhale. And now exhale, feeling the air leaving your lungs. And repeat this twice. And now, stretch your hands, like me. Yes? And clap your hands. Thank you very much. Now we are ready. Let me introduce our company. We provide services in the health sector, both in healthcare and technology. And we have started a new line of high-value services. And within this line, today we present our project because we believe this is the one with most impact on people. I'm delighted to be able to share with you our project. It's Care for Caregivers, and it's about caring for people, caring for teams, and caring for persons, but from the inside, because we put people first. As talent manager, my contribution at the hospital in Barcelona is to observe and give advice on how teams confront their difficult situations. Now I'm going to explain you a situation I experienced 2 weeks ago. Okay, So the story is as follows. On one hand, we have Roberto. He is Argentinian, and he's a very good doctor, surgeon. And that day he was very upset because he didn't have the operation instrument ready. Then we have Nurse Maria. She's Colombian, and she also was very, very stressed because she couldn't handle with the situation of she attended many patients that morning. Then we have the patient wasn't ready too, and Killian. We have Killian. He is the missions boy, and he was alone that morning, and also couldn't handle the situation. And finally, we had anesthetist Joel. He just became a father, and he was very late that day. He had a lack of sleep. Yes, and this is the situation. Things didn't work out that morning, and as my task is to observe, I detected many personal needs. Later, we met at the canteen, and I assure you it was not fun because they were very stressed, they argue. Even Killian told me, the admissions boy told me he had a headache. And Maria, the nurse, she told me she had thought about quitting her job. Yes? And how would you deal with this situation? The way this team solved the situation is typical of working at high levels of stress and burnout. And we detect if it's one or other, depending on the way they are acting. Okay? Take a look at these differences between stress and burnout. Stress main pain is more physical, and burnout main pain is more emotional. Do you remember Killian? He told me he had a headache, so he was suffering stress. And Maria, she told me she wanted to quit her job. It was more emotional management. Okay. And this team, as any other, is composed by many different characters, each one with their story of life. And they have their thoughts, their beliefs, their points of view, their communication skills. And which is the result of that morning? Let me show you my notes I took when they left the canteen. They were reactivity, aggressivity, beliefs, confusions, bad moods, no solving tools, no empathy. On the other hand, what we want workers to be happy. And our mission at Click for Health is to improve the working environment of teams affected by high levels of stress through emotional support, team dynamics, conflict resolutions, leadership learning with the help of digital tools. We also revert unpleasant emotions to pleasant emotions, and we offer to overcome stressful situations by providing soft skills. Just then, we can achieve a positive soul dimension. And how we do it? Oops. Yes, we consider three factors. One is the personal one. This, I mean, the interpersonal skills, the environmental, and the organizational. We elaborate customized programs according to specific needs. And we do it face-to-face and online projects. Okay? Because who is responsible for all this situation? As leaders, if we want workers to be happy, we have to offer them welfare programs. But do leaders need to attend them at all situations? No, because the operation manager can devote achieving his challenges while teams are being able to solve their own problems. And remember, we need to put people first, because at the end of the day, they are who keeps our companies running. And as leaders, one of the main ways to achieve goals is to define with your team your 5 main values. At Click for Health, we've done it, and our main values are as follows: helping, campaigning, empathy, teamwork, and digitation. So to honor our company's values, we have transferred them in acts with this project. The results are as follows. what we achieve? We achieve problem-solving tools, assertiveness, empathy, agree common values acts that honor the values, more commitment, consolidated teams, social skills. And achieving all these goals, it's not enough to succeed. Because to succeed, take a look at this formula. This is, for us, what is success. So we start in growth. Growth is the economic part of a company, the materialistic, plus ethics. When I say ethics, I mean discipline, values, and norms. And the result of both, it's progress. Till here, we have success at its 50%. If we want to increase, to achieve 100% of success at a company, we have to add soft skills. When I say soft skills, I mean morality and humanity. And this is success at its maximum level. And this is only possible when leaders offer welfare programs to employees. Because at this level, workers are happy, motivated, excited, and good vibes. And for Click for Health, success is also to contribute with workers, companies, and societies. And we do it by reducing stress, anxiety, and drug consumptions, reduce doctor visits, we reduce absenteeism, and we revert the situation, improving efficiency, increase motivation, team cohesion, improves working climate, and patients would receive even better care. So we revert situations and we create healthy spaces. And in order to create these healthy and friendly spaces, as uncomfortable as certain situations can be, instead of complaining, consider what you can do to improve that situations. Because if something doesn't work, something has to be changed. And as leaders, be you who brings this change. And remember, we put people first, and we want workers to be happy. Thank you very much for your attention, and give me your best smile.
Bueno, enhorabuena.
Gracias.
Albert.
Congratulations, Albert. Cristina, how do you think we should rate her? She 10 points, 9 points? What do you think? Because she's been on her own, maybe even more than 10 points.
A or an A+. Now close your eyes. Breathe. How do you feel?
Better than
Very good. Excellent. Bueno, muchísimo. Me quiero quedar con dos cositas, si me permite.
Well, I want to keep a few things from you before we give the floor to the Madrid City Council. I want to know exactly what it is we can do to support you, because I think that's important, but I also wanted to highlight something.
In my eyes, at least, me personally, I think that one of the most important things that you have behind Click for Health is the team. Because the team is coming from Ideal Medic. And Ideal Medic, for many, many years, has and will be a major player on the market. So I would say you have, as a backup, something which is very, very good, powerful. So how can we help you?
We look for companies to make a pilot project with them.
Okay. In Spain?
Yes, in Spain.
Okay.
Even
what type of company? Insurance company, hospital, service, any company? Any company?
Better sanitary, because the people who needs the most is people who takes care of people.
Okay.
Yes, we think this is
very good.
Any company is okay, but normally
pilot. Could you just tell us, and we finish with this? Dinos algo más del piloto.
Sí, no. Depending on company's needs, we elaborate a specific project, and with different themes. Depending on their needs.
Okay, very good. So we have a lot of companies. We have more than 100 companies that will be delighted to better understand such a pilot, what you would define as a pilot. We can support you. We are going to work internally within the group. And you know, any questions, by the way? Any questions from any of the attendees? They are very silent today. I don't know why.
They are breathing.
You know what? Normally they ask a lot of questions, but today I don't know what is going on here. Bueno, pues vamos a terminar.
Okay, we're now going to end, and thank you very much and congratulations. Jokes aside, thank you, everything well. But yeah, I wanted to mention, of course, now we're going to move on to the closing words. But I didn't want to forget a person before. I mentioned that the two persons that are going to participate is very important for us, and we have them with us. They're moving their head from right to left, and it's María Ángeles Preto, the General Director
For the Madrid City Council. She's always supporting. She's the owner, sponsor, and creator of the Redes, net of clusters, 7 clusters in Madrid. She's with us also today, and I wanted to thank her for her work. Miguel Ángel Martín, who is also supporting. He is the major coordinator. Organiza nuestras vidas, nuestros dolores.
He organizes our lives, our pains on a daily basis. And now, if I may, without further ado.
Initially to Sarah Cowley, Deputy Head of Mission, British Embassy. And secondly, to Miguel Ángel Redondo, Deputy Major Government Area for Economics, Innovation and Employment for the Madrid City Council. Muchísimas gracias. ¿Cuál es el orden normal? Sí. Eso sí yo. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to arrive at an event and be asked to sit down, close your eyes and breathe. Thank you, Gloria. That was an unusual treat, but I'm not going to do that. So, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es...
Well, good afternoon. My name is Sarah Cowley, and I am the Deputy Head of Mission of the British Embassy here in Spain. I am very pleased to be here today with so many business and experts on the health sector from the UK and Spain, particularly the Midlands and Madrid. The cooperation between the two regions is very important for the UK and for Madrid and Spain as a whole. And I would like to particularly thank the Deputy Mayor of the Madrid City Council, Miguel Ángel Redondo, Head of the Area of Economics, Innovation and Employment of the Madrid City Council, and also the Directors of Economy, Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and of the Italy. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you. And also like to thank Victoria. Where is Victoria? All right, there. Thank you for all your work. Is the person in charge of the logistics, which is never an easy task. Thank you very much. And you're all here today to support this great initiative and to promote the bilateral collaboration between our two countries, which is my priority and in my job, the bilateral collaboration between the two countries. And I'd like to encourage you to make the most of the networking opportunity and the lunch that we're going to have now. And I encourage you to talk to my team here, Shauna Brown and Alejandra Cortez. Do you all know them already? Yes? Okay. But if you have any questions, you can contact them. Any question on the UK or the businesses or the organizations that have presented themselves today. Thank you very much. And I hope we can continue collaborating and increasing the opportunities in the future after today.
Muy buenas tardes.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Dear President Carlos Díez both, and the heads and responsibles for the Madrid eHealth, dear Deputy Head of Mission, Sarah Cowley, and the Head of the Department of Business and Trade in Madrid, the Director of Economy, María Ángeles Prieto, and the rest of the team from the Madrid City Council. Dear ladies and gentlemen, representatives of the Spanish and British companies that have participated today in this very intense work.
It's an honor to be here this afternoon, and congratulations to all the companies that participate in this, I think, a very, very important event. Hoy hemos podido.
Today we've come to meet and get to know a lot of initiatives from the UK and Spain who give us a very good idea of the disruptive potential and the future potential of a sector like the digital health, the eHealth sector. I am convinced that the presentation of all these projects, the exchange of information between the people in charge of each of the initiatives, and the engagement of the attendees in this session have been of a great interest to reflect on the current context and on the role and the responsibilities of both the businesses and the administrations in such a dynamic field and such a driving field like eHealth. At the same time, this meeting is an opportunity to promote even more the excellent trading relationships with a preferred partner like the UK, which don't seem to have been impacted after their exit from the EU, sorry. And after the US, the UK is the key or the main destination of Spanish companies abroad, and the investment has increased to up to 15%. The Spanish exports of goods to such country, the UK, increased by nearly 15% on a yearly basis. It's around 16 billion euros these days, and the imports from the UK have increased to up to around 8.5 billion euros, with an increase of 36% yearly increase. This has taken place despite the current context, basically characterized by uncertainty. And other factors like the COVID-19 pandemic, the Russian invasion of Ukraine have only worsened the situation, but we still have these figures. The current world is uncertain and it's extremely complex. It is an environment where we've seen the multiplication of stakeholders, of collective events, and often not even the administrations have the capacity to give a response to the problems that arise without bearing in mind all the others. So this new relationship environment has given rise to a transformation of the relationships between the public and the private sectors. And as a result of that, it's had an impact on the way we organize and manage everything, which we should always do it based on knowledge and co-responsibility from all sides. Administrations on this new environment have a new protagonism, and they are in charge of leading as catalysts, promoting collaborative networks, take part in those networks, and participate in public and private organizations. In this new network context, clusters are becoming more and more important. This is a group of businesses. We also involve education entities and others, and we should bear in mind the sector that we're talking about, the eHealth, and the goal should always be to get benefits and advantages resulting from the execution of joint projects of an innovative approach. And as such, they build efficient instruments of public-private collaboration. Clusters, as a result of the coordinated effort of that heterogeneous set of actors, play a decisive role in our current context, because on the one side they guarantee the competitiveness and visibility at an international level, and at the same time they allow us to move forward in fields of production with a higher future potential and with an added value. And all these facilitates the investment in talent, the growth of the GDP, the generation of quality employment, and the stimulus and support to entrepreneurs and SMEs. The importance of clusters is currently impacted as well by a financial situation that has already difficult after the pandemic, but it's become even more complicated after the general participation of inflationist reactions at the beginning of 2022. Madrid City Council currently has a network of clusters for municipal promotion. It has 7 clusters with over 500 entities, with companies, universities, startups, research centers in areas of a lot of future potential like big data, cybersecurity, fintech, construction, engineering, architecture, and digital health, video gaming, and innovation for the sustainable distribution of goods. In the specific case of Madrid eHealth, the interest of Madrid in this field is explained by several reasons, all of them important. First of all, we must highlight that the world investments of revenues of eHealth, according to McKinsey Global Institute, will go from 350 billion in 2020 to 600 billion by 2024. This is a sector that is characterized by this high added value and the disruptive potential to transform the productive fabric in our city. In fact, the City Council of Madrid supports towards the future an initiative of over 100 private companies. This is not just an ambitious contribution of knowledge, but it is also a commitment with the transformation of the city and is based on 3 key pillars. One of those is actually based on health. Digital health can improve the quality of care, and it could decrease the costs of the health systems and social services as a consequence of aging. Finally, eHealth allows us to alleviate the pressures on the network, on the hospital network, and the care network as well, and providing services in health crises like the pandemic that we've just experienced. Also, the Madrid eHealth cluster supported by Madrid is also aligned with the 2030 agenda. This interest by the Madrid City Council to support the eHealth field, part of a public-private collaboration, is aligned with some of the initiatives of the British Council, who in 2017 published a strategic industrial strategy on life sciences. This is a strategy that is based on public-private collaboration with the national health system. Some data from Madrid and Spain. Spain has 83.3 years of age as an average. Is the highest in life expectancy in the European Union. The Community of Madrid has the highest life expectancy in Spain, with an average of 85 years of age. Only in Madrid, in the city, there are over 650,000 old people, or plus 65, 20% of the population, and out of which nearly 300,000 are over 79 years of age. Public health in Spain is amongst the top in the world. And the Madrid community is a leader, or was leading in 2022, which is the reference, according to a reference study for the public sector. And in Madrid, we have the 10 most important hospitals in Spain. We have the highest volume of clinical trials, and 50% of those are actually performed in Madrid. Finally, we have to highlight that the community and the City Council have a lot of institutions and entities working on promoting research, development, and innovation. Amongst those, the Scientific Park of Madrid in Villaverde area, which is Porta Innovation, Madrid International Lab, Biomad. This is all focused on, there's another one focused particularly on private research. I would like to conclude by thanking all the attendees. Thank you to Madrid eHealth Cluster. Thank you to the representation from the UK, the Deputy Head of Mission from the UK, and also thank you to the businesses and the work that you are performing. Thank you, everyone.